How did you decide, rather than to make a movie about James Baldwin from an outside perspective, you actually would make a movie using his own words?
Well, that's a rare instance where the starting point of the movie are the words of a person, a great author, James Baldwin. So my job in that instance was to put myself in the background and just be the messenger of those words.
I'm certain, again, that like most white Americans I have encountered, they have I'm sure they have nothing whatever against Negroes. That's really not the question. The question is really a kind of apathy and ignorance, which is a price to be paid for segregation. That's what segregation means. You don't know what's happening on the other side of the wall because you don't want to know.
I was, in some way, in those years, without entirely realizing it, the great black hope of the great white father.
I knew those words since I'm 15 years old. I know how powerful they are. I knew that Baldwin is also a very controversial personality. And for me, it was not about that. It was about his words and how impactful and important those words are today. And I knew I didn't want any talking heads. I didn't want anybody to interpret him, to speak for him. I wanted to be inside his head. I never did a documentary like this, to rely only on those words and give them life, of course. Find the right footage, find the right image. And the film started with the text. I took all the texts that were appropriate to tell the story, and I put them together. The person who has the power of this camera tell the story. Yeah. When I see people filming in a country like Haiti, it's rare that I can accept those pictures because I feel that they don't film the dignity of the people. They will also, especially if it's news, they will go to the crazy woman who's crying, and they don't want to go to this person who has something to say and who can explain the context.
Do you struggle at all with how much to linger on some of those issues, some of those images?
Yes, of course, because you are making a film for everybody, and you wish that everybody stay on the film, watch it. But it's a matter of feeling. If you keep it 5 seconds too much, you're going to lose a lot of people. But at the same time, you have to show them the truth. I know it's a shock for most people who will see it. And I try to make it as short as possible, but at the same time, I want you to feel the violence of the juxtaposition of those two images. So it's a part of your morale, it's part of your ethic, as Werner told it, and it's also part of the power structure in which you are working.
I can't imagine that when you were kids, you imagined that you'd be documentary filmmakers. Maybe even when you were growing up and you were chief of staff of Anthony Weiner, you didn't imagine. What did you want to do when you were kids?
I knew that I would have something to do with, not politics, but with people, with engagement. In fact, I studied to become an engineer and an economist, which I did. I studied in Germany, but it took me, and I started a PhD, and parallelly, I was making films. I was working in production with friends of mine, and I always thought that that's what you do, and coming from Haiti, to tell my parents, I want to be a filmmaker, that was out of question. And it took me years to finally accept the fact that that's really what I wanted to do, and I went back to film school.
Raoul, how have your experiences shaped your optimism or pessimism about the world?
I don't think it changed. On the contrary, I feel like around me, people don't see the world. They don't understand the world. And my job as a filmmaker is to make sure that the world is seen as it is. And especially if, being a black man, I don't see myself on the screen. I don't see my world on the screen. So I have to make sure that this world exists and that we are confronted with it. Hi, I'm Raoul Peck, director of I'm Not Your Negro. Thank you for watching, and be sure to subscribe for more videos from The Hollywood Reporter.